And so it begins. First tonight, there is a very simple question. If President Biden is unfit to run for president, as so many Democrats now openly say, and as so many in the media seem to question, then he is unfit to be president. It's very simple. For the past week, and I was on vacation, consuming news as just a normal person, not watching cable and off Twitter. Well, everybody's been talking about whether the president can or should run for re-election. Can he win after the disastrous debate performance? How does he come back? And that wasn't because of bad policies or inflation or the border or crime. It was because the debate and the subsequent gaffes over the past week have made it clear that the most powerful man in the world suffers from some type of real cognitive issue. No American should take pleasure in saying that, but it's true. We can all see it with our own two eyes. A world-renowned Parkinson's doctor came to the White House close to 10 times. The White House will not say why. The question is not whether Mr. Biden should run for president. It's whether Mr. Biden should have the nuclear codes. Any morning at 3 a.m., the phone can ring. Adam Smith, the senior Democrat on the Armed Services Committee, just said Biden should end his bid for re-election. 9 Democrats in Congress say Mr. Biden shouldn't run for re-election. They say that publicly, and we're told there are many more who say it privately. So if Biden is unable or unfit to run for re-election, how is exactly that he can remain president? And this is where we go from a partisan issue to a nonpartisan issue. Because the commander-in-chief's abilities, his faculties, his control of his thoughts, his ability to articulate things, not for 90 minutes after a week of prep, but at 3 o'clock in the morning when the phone rings, that's not a partisan issue. Because for those who care about the country, the republic, the idea about America, this is much more than the partisan result of a presidential election. Biden's current mental state should and is terrifying.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about this pretty bombshell interview here coming from Democrat Parkinson's doctor Tom Pitts, a board-certified neurologist who's going to tell NBC News that Joe Biden is displaying symptoms of Parkinson's despite the fact that, hey, he hasn't seen them himself, but he can see that clearly from a distance, Joe Biden, there's something wrong with him, okay? And again, this is a pretty bombshell interview here from NBC because just 2 weeks ago, before the debate, you would never saw anything like this, right? The fact that the mainstream media is now bringing on doctors to diagnose Joe Biden, okay, really shows you that we are in upside down world, okay? When it comes to politics today, it is a completely new world. We're in new territory, uncharted territory, okay? I've never seen the media as relentless as they are right now against the Biden administration. They are trying to take Biden down, okay? And, hey, I think that this interview is a part of it. I mean, this doctor is essentially going to say that, yeah, he believes Biden has Parkinson's disease, and this appears to be in response to the White House continuing to engage in a cover-up of Biden's mental health, okay? Because we all know about the bombshell story of a Parkinson's expert visiting the White House like 8 times over the past 8 months, and the White House has essentially come out and said, nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. He was meeting with the president's doctor, but he wasn't actually there for Joe Biden, okay? Stop asking questions because all of this should just go away. Biden doesn't have Parkinson's.
We're going to begin, though, with a defiant President Biden pushing back very forcefully against pressure to drop out of this presidential race. On live TV yesterday, he dared anyone in his party to challenge him for the nomination. And now he is winning some key support from members of Congress. Also this morning, the administration is clarifying why a neurologist made multiple visits to the White House. Nancy Cordes, of course, is following all of this. Nancy, good morning. There are so many questions today. Good to see you.
Good morning, Gail. And now we have some answers. Late last night, the president's personal physician released this letter stating that a neurologist who has visited the White House repeatedly over the past year was not here to care for President Biden and has been treating patients from time to time in the White House medical unit for the past 12 years. The Biden camp making the case aggressively Monday that it is now time for the party to move on. President Biden made it through Monday without any new Democratic defections and with some key backing from his party's House leader.
I support President Joe Biden and the Democratic ticket.
And from high-profile progressives like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
The matter is closed. He is not leaving this race. He is in this race, and I support him.
It came after Biden himself turned up the heat on Democratic doubters Monday with a defiant appearance by phone on cable news.
If any of these guys don't think I should run against me, go ahead, announce for president. Challenge me at the convention.
He also sent a 2-page letter to congressional Democrats, insisting it's time for this debate over his health to end.
Has the president been treated for Parkinson's? No. Is he being treated for Parkinson's? No, he's not. Is he taking medication for Parkinson's? No.
White House officials initially declined to say Monday why Dr. Kevin Kennard, a neurologist and Parkinson's specialist, had visited the White House 8 times in 8 months.
I am not sharing confirming names from here. It is a security reason.
But late last night, the president's personal doctor revealed that while Dr. Kennard was the neurological specialist that examined Biden for each of his annual physicals, President Biden has not seen a neurologist outside of his annual physical, and that Kennard sees a variety of patients and problems when visiting the White House medical unit.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
It's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word finding difficulties, and that's not, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that be part of that, too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemino dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity, monotone voice.
Wait, go back to that, the rigidity. What do you mean?
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of en bloc turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinson's is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold hypophonia. A small monotone voice like this over time is.
Yeah. So when Joe Biden starts whispering, right, he's whispering because something is wrong with him. Okay. And people have been, why the hell is Joe Biden whispering? Okay. He started whispering at the debate, I believe. He whispers during press conferences.
Yeah. You're good. Let me whisper a secret. Don't tell mommy what I told you. You got it?
Mm-hmm. I'm recording.
Oh, you're recording. Not good at filming. And thanks to the outstanding senators, Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin, Tammy's the one, and Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith from the state of Minnesota. If I have all 3 of them on my side, I don't worry about anything. When I started the job, I kept talking about the need for deal with the environment. So we don't have a problem. Anybody think climate's not a problem? Raise your hand. Come on, man. I've been around the world.
I think it's because something is wrong. Apparently, it's not his fault, right? This is something that Joe Biden is dealing with. It's a part of his symptoms, so it seems, okay? That's what it seems like to me.
It's a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms from Parkinson's. We just had him up there on the screen. If we can put him back. What about the movement? Some people have pointed out the way he walks. Sometimes it's not very fast, small steps. Is that something that is common in people who are battling a disease like Parkinson's?
Yeah, it's a hallmark. Shuffling gait, we call that, so little steps. Loss of arm swing from the rigidity. When we walk, we have a nice cadence. You notice he doesn't really swing his arms. And en bloc turning, meaning he kind of pivots around his foot. If you said, hey, President Biden, he wouldn't go like this. So, yeah.
But I also know, and tell me if I'm wrong here, it's very hard to diagnose Parkinson's, isn't it? It's not simple. I mean, I've heard that it can be.
It's one of the easier movement disorders to diagnose, actually.
Right,
but it's so clinic. There's very little other. And I'm a Democrat. I always say at this.
Right.
It's just like this guy is not a hard case.
But I've had relatives who have gone through issues.
Oh my goodness. This guy is saying Joe Biden is not a hard case to diagnose, which again is devastating because the White House is trying their best to avoid anybody asking questions about why in the hell was a neurologist meeting with Joe Biden's doctor 8 times over the past, year or so? Okay, I think it was like 10 months, 8 months. I'm not entirely sure. But people are asking questions about it, and the White House is trying their best to cover it up. But when you have a neurologist frequently visiting the United States president the way that it is happening right now with Joe Biden, that leaves a lot of questions. People are asking questions about, well, why is that? Well, listen to this guy talk. It makes sense, okay? They probably know, they probably are aware of Joe Biden potentially having this disease, and they're covering it up, which, again, is devastating for Democrats, devastating for the White House if news comes out that they knew about this a long time ago, but yet they said nothing about it. Yeah, I mean, it's only going to get worse, okay? And this guy coming out admitting that, yeah, I'm a Democrat, and I'm telling you right now, Joe Biden's not in good shape, really does not help their case. And again, this is being aired on NBC, okay? Not exactly a conservative network.
Neurological issues, and I've heard that sometimes Parkinson's is not very easy to nail. You have to take a lot of tests.
It's early on. If you're just presented with like hallucinations, that could be a variety of things, or just the cognitive problems. That could be Alzheimer's versus Parkinsonism, and that becomes a little nebulous. But once you start manifesting the hallmark motor symptoms, right? Slow movement, rigidity, mass facies, hypophonia. I mean, if a med student did not pick Parkinson's on the test, they'd be remediated.
So let me ask you, if you had, and I know you have no idea what happened in the White House, but a neurologist coming 8 times in 8 months, does that tell you anything? Is that, I mean, I know you're just sort of speculating here, but does that tell you anything or no?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're like the best of friends or something, but that's a very specific, he's a movement disorder. That's a subspecialist in exactly what he has. And there's very few young people, like a Marine Guard. Most people would be med boarded out for any type of movement disorder at a young age. Like if you had Huntington's, chorea, early onset Parkinson's, dystonia, bad essential tremor, you're usually med boarded out. So I highly doubt there's...
What does that mean, med boarded out?
Med boarded, meaning the military would not let you, if you have seizures, for example, you cannot usually be in the military. That is, you are medical boarded out.
You're saying you don't necessarily believe, and they're not saying this, but they said there's thousands of military members that go to the White House and are treated there for health reasons. Yeah. You're not buying that that's a random military person.
No, that would be very odd to just see a random movement disorder case at the White House, especially a young guard. There aren't many young people that have movement disorders that could be in the military.
And then, a lot of people have called for a cognitive test. What exactly would that entail? What does that mean?
Now, that's the key, because word finding retrieval doesn't necessarily mean you don't know what you want to say. What I cannot comment on is his ability to make good decisions. His motor symptoms are degenerating. He has Parkinsonism. That is a fact. He has degeneration of the brain. Show me the MRI. Show me he doesn't. Put your money where your mouth is. He definitely has it. But the problem is, when you look at his situation, you can't say, oh, I know for a fact that because he didn't retrieve the word, he didn't know what he wanted to say. And that's why both him and Trump should take the 4-hour neuropsychological testing, which is the hallmark test for cognitive performance.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here's the thing. I have no issues with Trump taking the test because I'm pretty sure Trump would pass it, right? But most certainly Biden would not pass it. This guy is saying unequivocally, as a board certified neurologist, he's saying on national television, yeah, he has it, right? I mean, again, he's not saying maybe, probable. No. He's speaking with certainty, it seems, okay? At least from my interpretation of what he's saying, it seems as if he has kind of already diagnosed Joe Biden. That's how bad that it is, okay? And, if it comes out that Joe Biden, in fact, does have it, Democrats are going to have to run on standing behind a guy that literally is degenerating in the brain, right? I mean, it is pretty bad, right? It's terrible. This is an absolute terrible situation for Democrats. And quite honestly, part of me wants to feel bad for Joe Biden and the Democrats, but I really don't, okay? I don't at all. And I'm actually laughing, okay? Because honestly, they deserve it, right? This is karma, okay? What comes around goes around. The pendulum always swings the other way in politics. And in this case, you have a reversal here where before the mainstream liberal media and Democrats were questioning whether or not Trump should have access to the nuclear codes. But now the media and some Democrats are essentially coming out and questioning whether or not Biden should have access to the nuclear codes. Again, it is absolutely hilarious what is happening right now to the Democrats. And this neurologist coming out and trashing Biden is definitely not going to help. This is the media following up on that disastrous press conference in which Karine Jean-Pierre refused to give just basic information that was publicly available about the doctor that was allegedly at the White House to see Joe Biden's doctor, and what were those conversations and meetings about. The media, instead of letting it go, they said, no, we're going to bring on our own doctor, right, and have him diagnose Biden. And this guy comes out here and says the worst thing possible in regards to what people are suspecting is wrong with Joe Biden. You can't make this stuff up. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.